Hello, everyone.
Hey,
Welcome
how's it
back to
going?
Thompson Talk. I'm Sony,
Andrew, Drew, Don.
and we are here today with Collin Kendall, the owner of One Body Solutions. Thank you for joining us, Collin.
Thank you all for having me.
You were
Yeah,
you're like our first official guest. That's
I
Hmm.
know it's
something.
pretty exciting.
Take your shirt off.
All right, I gotta get my tan on.
Not only are you our first guest, Colin, but you're a really super important one because you're helping Andrew take control of his life and his health, which I
Yep.
appreciate more than words can convey. And I'm also super grateful that Andrew is taking this step to be willing to make changes in his diet and physical activity. Because,
Yeah.
as a mom, I want him to be around a while, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
There's been many times that we've had to reel it in and get help. When Andrew moved to California, we did this training for Warriors boot camp, which totally kicked our asses. And I don't know how, Andrew, you got me to go into that as well, but Andrew really lost a lot of weight from that, and it was
Yeah.
really a strong sense of community, pretty awesome experience. But
For sure. Highlight. One of the highlights of my life so far. Um, it definitely is. It's when you're doing something like that every single day. It even got to the point where uh, I was working out with them for free, and I would stay and like sweep up or like clean the bathrooms and like help manage you know the cleanliness level of the gym. And they became a family, and
yeah,
it was a huge family. And of course, life goes on. They got me in shape, sent me on my way. I joined the army, but I still think about them all the time. And just as I was then, I'm super excited to be a part of the One Body family. Um,
Amazing. Yeah, that's a
and
beautiful story.
obviously, we have platforms now, so you go to the ends of the earth for your clientele. Hey, I'm putting you on all the platforms, man. We're doing this together.
Colin, is that something you've struggled with personally throughout your life, or is just fitness something that you've always been?
That's a great question. So I have always been athletic within sports with my brother, and just always being outside because we grew up in the boondocks of Indiana, like southern Indiana. So growing up on farms, you're always doing some kind of physical labor from dusk to dawn. You're not making jack shit too, like you're making pennies. But
Yeah.
you're raised like just like grunt work. But when I was younger, our family had a lot of issues, particularly with my dad, and so my dad had a drinking issue, and so as a young man, when you're going into puberty of like seventh, eighth, even like ninth grade of like your middle school, high school, your testosterone is pumping, right? And so your body's changing, and yet you have all this chaos going on behind closed doors of the house, and there was a lot of just like frustration and anger and all that stuff, and so I had to like find a way to kind of like focus that for me personally, for like my own like mental well being, because you know, I was more of like a recluse. I was just kind of quiet. So I started to train in my grandparents' basement across the street with like center blocks and like, hay bales in the backyard, and like doing pull ups on tree branches and like pushing like wagon wheels, just like exercise, just to do something. And I literally taught myself how to do like
Hmm.
so much for like 5 years straight. And when I got into college, it really just like snapped in my brain. I was like, yeah, this is definitely what I'm supposed to be doing, because it changed me mentally for my own mental health. But when I really started to learn the science of like how our bodies work, how food works, how to get people like to experience pain and get them out of pain, I was like, this is beyond fulfilling. So it's just what I do.
That's awesome.
It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Has anybody in your family ever been overweight? Because Andrew and I come from family that we really like food. I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah,
Sorry, fam.
no, food's
but
good.
but
Gotta
all
eat.
all of your family
I
is
wouldn't say. Now, I wouldn't say that the whole family is they're not physically fit. There's a lot of drinking, a lot of alcohol consumption, and of course,
gotcha.
like you bind that with food. So it's mostly like stomach issues, or like they're on this medication for this problem, they're on this medication for this. So it's more like disease or disorders that have been developed over time that could have been prevented with lifestyle change, and then just being a little bit of disciplined, and
Hmm.
being face to face like with their own self destructive behaviors. My stepdad has like had chronic stomach issues ever since I can remember too. And he would be in the hospital bed and he would just be in tears and all that. And I was just like, why can nobody figure out what's wrong with him? And it would like just kill me inside. So I loved science. And so I studied science like super hard. I studied biology and I just loved it. And I was like, I want to fix these problems because no one's doing it. And so that's what our company's founded off of. It's not so much just give somebody a caloric intake goal and go do a workout. It's like, we need to understand what are these dysfunctions that are going on. Let's talk about your hormones. Let's look at your labs. What medications are you on? All these other issues.
So you started a business from this. When did you start it?
That's a great question. So I started One Body Solutions after getting divorced. And so my divorce absolutely floored me. It kind of changed my perception of people. And it just really, tipped me over in like there's like really negative ways, lots of drinking, went into a little bit of like drugs, not too much. I wasn't eating I wasn't sleeping. My health was like really starting to be like compromised. I lost like 35 pounds in like 2 months. And so like I look like just a skeleton. So of course like that's depression, straight up.
Yeah.
Because you're going through the trauma and everyone deals with trauma and heartbreak or loss or something in different ways. And so I just was self-destructing my own behavior. So I was homeless. I slept in my car on River Road. I had $250 in my name. I had no belongings, nothing. And I would just go from couch to couch to couch all of 2018, just like going to coffee shops or like the public library because I didn't have any money, and like just trying to come up like a business model and like how like we would service people. And I was like reading books in the library again to try and like understand like these issues that people have with their health. And it just kind of started trickling of like, oh, like I got a client here or I got a client there. And you just like, just constantly service them and just try and help them and lead them and, get them to take that wheel and create that level of independence. So yeah, One Body started out of that absolute lowest point in my life personally. That's where our company's slogan is One Body, One Life.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's why.
And that was 2018.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
2018, which was not far from 2020 when the whole world became different, right? Last year, everything changed. So you had just kind of created this company and everything had to shift. So tell us a little bit about that as well.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's tough. It's been tough for all of us, which is awful, and it's, it really had to change like how I perceive like how to operate a company in itself. Because I didn't go to school for business. I didn't even finish my degree. Like I didn't feel like paying like a couple $1,000 extra for like English and math because I was like, that's kind of dumb. I'm not going to do that. So we got into 2020 and things were picking up pretty good and the company was growing. And then bam, Andy says like, shut everything down. And the whole country just goes on a complete lockdown. And we lost like 75% of our company within 72 hours. All clientele, revenue, everything. I was living in my gym at the time because I didn't want to take from it. So I was just like living inside it in like the back office and like cooking on a hot plate. So we had to shift like service. So instead of brick and mortar one-on-one service, we had to go virtual because almost all companies had to do that somehow to keep dollars coming in because we just had to adapt. And so we started just doing Zoom workouts and kind of like telehealth. Like, we go over like, let's talk about your diet, movement, stress, sleep, supplementation, how much sunlight are you getting? What are your gut issues? All this kind of stuff. And so that really carried us through quarantine. And I would highlight any of my client successes. If I was training Andrew, I'm like, hey, Andrew drank 3 bottles of water versus 2 today. Let's give this guy a round of applause. I would just put that on Facebook, like whatever the case was. And people love that because we're consumed in negativity and we're consumed in chaos and death and all these things. And I just wanted to shed some type of positivity in the community. And people like really just love that. And they would message us and we would coach them virtually. And as soon as like the doors opened up, our company quadrupled in like 2 months.
Are you still just doing virtual sessions, or are you now opening up as people are becoming vaccinated? And how's that working now?
Yeah, ours is a hybrid model now. So we have our brick and mortar. Yep. So we have a hybrid model. We have a brick and mortar with like our kind of like semi-private coaching because people love that community, but we're starting to coach people in like New York, and South Carolina, and St. Louis and, California. And like, it's just, that part is like growing and growing and growing, which is cool.
Yeah.
One thing that I really like is from a young guy, especially, having been in the military, there's a lot of fake healthy guys, you know what I mean, where they live off Bang energy and protein bars, and they lift and they have huge biceps or whatever, but you are like a diagnostic, you know what I mean? You get so much into it. Well, the other day we talked about why I've been having sleep issues,
Mm-hmm.
and that's something that I've been working with the VA, and they've given trazodone and different medicines and to try to get me to fall asleep and stay asleep. And you're like, hey, cut down screen time, and because there's blue and green rays that from man-made light that will put your body through stress, and it's like you all these things, and you help apply all these different things, and it's it's more than just doing a push-up, it's more than just picking up a weight, it's more than just running a mile. I like how in depth you get with the anatomy and how you provide reasoning behind what you're doing, and I think that's super helpful, especially for people that are just used to seeing people go into the gym to get jacked, and the whole time they might be causing not necessarily more harm than good, but they
Yeah.
might not be doing what's best for them.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, look at dieting culture. Like, everything that we see on social media these days is work yourself to death in the gym or any type of like physical activity. Like, we're constantly told to just constantly just keep doing more and more and more. And sometimes doing more is a complete opposite of what somebody needs. Especially if
Mm-hmm.
you're looking someone's dieting history. Women especially are subject to loads of pseudoscience about what's healthy and what's not healthy, how to eat this way and should not eat this way too. So if they're constantly putting all this stress on women's bodies, it's only wreaking havoc on their hormones. Estrogen levels are going into the tank. Thyroid is becoming a huge, huge problem. And then
Yeah.
guys, it's all about product. Take this supplement, take this gear, do this, add this, add this, add this, like more and more and more too, and just wreaking havoc on people's health too. And they're not really addressing the root cause, which is lifestyle. And then we just trickle from there
Yep.
too. And it's very annoying.
Good old Staff Sergeant Burnt, when I was deployed, told me Tito's and eggs and do arms every day.
Right?
He's like, I never miss an arm day. I hit biceps every single day, and all I eat is eggs and drink Tito's. He was like,
Exactly,
you
man.
look like me.
Yep.
It's
If
like,
you find
shoot.
that's like the smallest, tightest shirt, then you're ready to go.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
So, Collin, I have another question for you. What drives and motivates you? And what do you find drives and motivates the people who you train? Is it the same or is it different, or is everybody different?
That's a great question. For me personally, it is it's getting those text messages or those emails where someone says like, "Hey, I'm off my blood pressure medication the first time in 22 years," or a woman saying, "Hey, I just got my menstrual cycle back after like not having one in God knows how long," or you know, someone overcoming a relationship with food to where like one of my ladies the other day, she texted me like, I don't feel bad about eating this bad food, like like this pizza. I went to eat pizza with my girls at a restaurant the other night, and I didn't feel bad about myself for doing that. And to me, that's huge.
Yeah.
Yes,
You know,
Queen.
absolutely. You
Yeah.
know what it is? We just gotta get these girls
Yeah.
snatched. You know,
Yep.
Yeah.
and the guys.
Have
Just
you
I love
ever
them, my
had
guys.
have you ever
Huh?
had like a Zoom call where they're like, do a push up or whatever, and then they went off screen and then they came back and they're going,
Oh man, I wish that would happen.
looking at you, Andrew.
Hey, you know what? Talking about what motivates. When I was younger, we had gotten Krispy Kreme for breakfast, and I normally scarfed mine down, but on this particular day, my mom had said, "Save some, like save yours, save one of yours for later, because you're gonna want it later." And we decided to go for a walk. I was obese as a kid, morbidly, like pretty much my whole life until I got put on Adderall. Um, and so we're walking back, and
We're about two
her and
blocks. 2 blocks from
about
her
about two
home.
blocks away, and here's my fat ass walking along, and her girlfriend at the time, Sarah, who was tall, long legs, thin, were like, let's race to the house. First one there gets the last donut.
All right. He's like Usain Bolt
His
in that moment.
donut. His donut.
Yeah, mine. Boston
He
cream.
was
Never
he was
forget.
crying. He was running and crying in last
Wow.
place.
Yeah,
Dang.
by a lot.
So
Like
yeah,
you
he
were
was
not
very
sleeping that
food motivated.
Ever
Very
since
food motivated.
then, I swore I'd never lose a foot race to my
Yeah.
mom again.
day.
I think that it was even in preschool. Preschool was before, yeah, like he was 4 years old. He went to this preschool and they had the tumble bus where they had gutted out this bus and they had different like little trampoline or different tumble stuff. And I was like, I don't know. I was paying $45 a week for him to be on the tumble bus. And I said, how did you like the
Right.
tumble bus, honey? And he was like, I get gummy bears when we get to go. And I'm like, damn, I'll buy you a bag of gummy bears. You don't need the $45 tumble bus if you're most excited about the gummy bear you got.
All right. It's all about
That's
that tree
been
at the end of the line.
Yeah, that's
So,
been my whole
Colin,
life.
you've
We
got
took a
your
trip to
work
Italy.
cut out for you. You've got your work
Yeah,
cut
Yep.
out for you with
facts.
Andrew. But Andrew is committed to doing this. And Andrew, do you want to tell them a little bit about your journey that you're going to document?
So, Thompson Talk family, I am super, super excited to announce that I'm going to start my own separate YouTube. And I'll be doing daily vlogs as well as like full days of eating. And I'm going to be documenting my weight loss journey. So, you guys will be there from the first weigh in to when I hit my goal and hopefully pass that. You know what I mean? Not gonna lie, I've already been trying to put a little bit of work in. Thanks to Colin, we're trying to get my diet right, and it is very hard. It's difficult, especially when you eat for more than fuel. If you eat to comfort or eat in place of other coping mechanisms that you may be trying to kick or already kicked, it's tough. So I still struggle, but you guys will be coming along uh, while and we'll all struggle together. We'll binge Ben and Jerry binge together. You guys
Yeah.
can watch my videos and I'll be running it off by the time you see it. But
Right.
And
super excited
Colin
to
is
pair
going to
with
be
Colin in one
helping
body.
Andrew along with this journey. And if anyone out there would also like Colin's help, Colin, how can they reach you if they want to start their own fitness journey?
Yeah. So with social media, look me up, Collin Kendall. What's up, everybody? I'm Collin Kendall. This is One Body Solutions, and we believe that a life worth living starts with your body. So get up and do something about it.
I'll put some information down below so that people can click through and link to it. But
Yeah.
you've got
Let's
what
see. So
platforms are you on?
so we're on Facebook. We're also on Instagram. We have our websites. We're on Yelp, LinkedIn. Like we're pretty much on every single platform that you can imagine, except YouTube.
YouTube.
That's
Yep.
right. I knew you were going to say that.
Yep. Coming soon.
I'm excited for that. My coach that works for me, his name's Carter. He's really excited for the YouTube stuff like that. But
Awesome.
anybody they can reach us anywhere too. And I always let people know it's not something that you should be afraid of taking care of yourself, because nothing feels better than feeling good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Do
so
you
this
offer a
fear of
free consult to if
yeah,
people want to give you a call? And
yeah, all
excellent.
orientations are free. So we usually do our orientations on Zoom just because it's very convenient for people.
Mhm.
So
Sure.
when they do their orientations, we'll go over like everything. We'll cover tell me your work schedule, from like the time that you wake up to the time that you go to sleep. What do you eat? What do you drink? Do you take smoke breaks? Are you on any medications? How much sleep that you get? All that kind of stuff. Because the more information I can get about someone's daily routine and their lifestyle, the faster I can come up with a solution. It might be 2 things, it might be 15 things, but either way, we're going to get you some kind of result that's going to make you feel better, and that's what we want.
So knowing Collin is like a double-edged sword, you guys, because on one hand, he's an awesome guy and he knows a lot and he could definitely help get you in shape. But on the other hand, he also does stuff online, so you literally don't have an excuse. Like you don't have an excuse. If you don't live in Kentucky, it's all good. Matter of fact, you could move out of Kentucky. You know what? You're still all good. He can still get you together.
Yep. Yeah, well, that really that really was a big realization for us when one of my clients moved away. This is way before I ever even like thought about coaching people like from afar, because this woman had lost like 110 pounds in like 10 months, and she was still
Damn.
today probably like one of my top two favorite clients ever because she was a hustler. She didn't complain one time in a workout. She did everything nutrition wise. She did everything to a T, and she did amazing. But she said something I'll never forget. It's like, I wish I could just take you with me, because she was moving away. I was like, okay, maybe this whole brick
Yeah.
and mortar one-on-one model, this is probably not something that I should be bound to for the rest of my career. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, fellas. This was awesome. I look forward
this
to
was
seeing your journey, Andrew and Collin.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I
I'll look
really,
forward to
really
hearing about your
appreciate
consultation, Mom.
it.
there you go. Let's talk about that
And
diet.
Gotcha.
as always, if you want to put a comment below, right, at Thompson Talk Podcast at gmail.com. Yeah.
Or on Thompson Talk YouTube page. Go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, share it. When you subscribe, make sure you hit the post notification bell so you get updates when we upload. And yeah,
All right. Until next time.
talk to you guys later.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.